Well, hey everybody, I wanted to get a video out here. If you've been following these, then you kind of know I had a goal, or at least a thing, something I was shooting for. About 25 of these by the end of May. That's when our son's getting married. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to make that. A lot of reasons. This may be the last one, at least for a while. Maybe I'll do one on Father's Day. That's a big day. Got to have kind of a message on my heart for that one, but I want to share one more before I take a little break for a while anyway. I heard something this morning about, it was about junk. It was about somebody that collected junk but turned it into other things. It made me think back to a time in my own life where I wasn't in a very good place. I did a video on that a little bit. If you go back to one about depression, you'll see that one. I wasn't in a very good place. And I met with a lady, she was a doctor, and she was helping me work through it. She was actually a very good friend of mine. And she looked me in the eye. I'll never forget. I was, sitting on a little examining table kind of thing, and just sitting up there. And she scooted that little stool on wheels right over to me. And she's like a mother to me. And she looked me right in the eye. And she said, "Todd, God doesn't make junk. You think you're junk, you're not junk. Because God doesn't make junk." Now, I didn't know that this lady was spiritual or religious in any way whatsoever. So I remember thinking that first. I was surprised she said something like that, but now I'm not. And so as I thought about that story this morning, and I thought about what I wanted a video to be about, the very first one I did was about relationships, because I know how big of a deal that is in the world. I just came from leading a funeral. I mean, I get it. That's what I just told them. I hope you get that. But the one thing about these videos that's strange and harder for me to handle is that I don't get a chance to look in your eyes and hear from you, And I get that at churches and at friendships and even at funerals. I see the people. And I don't have that on this kind of social media, and that's kind of strange for me. Haven't gotten over that one yet. So, if I have a message that I want to leave you with, God doesn't make junk. So you're not junk. And I sure hope that you don't think you are. Because there would have been a time in my life when my closest friends, if they would have asked me, "Todd, do you think you're junk?" I would have said, "Junk may be a little strong, but I'm getting a little rusty. Don't run like I used to." If that's you, I want to encourage you. That's the reason I really kind of started this whole channel, and the reason I do the things that I do with my Facebook pages and my live shoots and all that stuff. Because you need to know that you matter. You do. I hope I've brought that across. That's what I wanted to do. So I grabbed two other things. This will be probably the last thing, well, at least that I have planned anyway, to show you. I don't know if you can see them. I'll try to put them up. See that little rock? And then there's another thing. It's kind of a little bead. Okay? What are those? In my bedroom, which is just right over there, I have a jar on one shelf, and I have another gel, kind of a jar, glass. It's kind of a glass cylinder on the other side of that shelf. The fish bowl is what one of them is. It's a clear fish bowl. It has the rocks in it, and the other one has the beads. So what's the difference, and why do I have them on a shelf? A few years ago, it was 20 years. I was 48. My dad was 68 when he passed. That was 14 years ago now. So a few years ago, I started to think, if I live to be the same age as my father, I only have 20 years left. Now, that may sound like a lot to some of you, but if you think about it, 20 years isn't very much. And it really hit me. It changed a lot of things in my life. It changed a lot about the way I look at the time that I have, and cold winter days and hot summer nights, and cups of coffee and meals with the kids. I don't know, and you don't know how many of them you have. And that's not a morbid thing, that's just a reality check. So inside that one jar, I counted up the number of weeks I had to live. Weeks. Each rock represents a week of my life. And I counted up how many I would have if I lived to be my dad's age, which he was 68 years and 6 months. So I counted up that many days, which my dad lived to be 3,562 weeks old. And then at that time, I searched the average age of a male in the United States, and it was like 72 and a half, or I don't know, something like that. So the average male in the United States lives approximately 3,770 weeks. Okay? So then I took the number of weeks that I'd done. I'm not turning this into a math problem, all right? In my dad jar, if I live to be my dad's age, right now, there are 672 rocks. And in the worldly jar, if I make it to 72, if the Lord allows me that much time, there's 880 in there. But here's the kicker. Every week, I do Sunday night. Every Sunday night, I stand in front of that dresser, I reach up onto that shelf, and I take a rock out of one jar and a bead out of the other. I didn't know that it'd be that big a deal because 20 years sounded like a long time to me when I started. It affects me every single Sunday. Every one. And the reason that I can show you those two rocks, or that rock and that bead, is because I haven't gotten rid of any of them yet. None. Pray for my wife. Now, there's not, I mean, there's a few sitting there, but I need to find another place to go with them, but I don't want to get rid of them. That rock represents a week of my life in the last 5 years. I don't know which week, it doesn't matter. And that bead represents a week of my life. And each Sunday, there's a few less rocks and beads. There's one out of each of those containers. It's a reality check for me, just like that funeral was today. Now, I don't want that to discourage you in any way. I want that to encourage you. I want you to be somebody that takes life like it's a wet rag, you know, like in the shower, you know, you get in there and there's a wet washcloth or something, and you wring it out, right? And you think you have every last drop. And then you grab it again and you wring it again and more water comes out. I want that to be my life. I want my life to be like a wet rag. Yes, I do. And I am going to wring that puppy out of every last drop that's inside of it. Because I was told by a very wise lady years ago that God doesn't make junk. You're not junk. And we only have so much time to get done what we need to do. So I hope that that inspires you, because it inspires me every week. Every day as I look in the mirror, that same guy that's looking back at me at that phone right now. He's not getting any younger. That's okay. That's part of the deal. But I hope he's getting wiser. And maybe, just maybe, I've done something for somebody out there in video land that I'll never have the pleasure of meeting. So, I may be back in the future, and I don't know, maybe I won't. But it's been fun. I appreciate all the comments and everything that I've gotten over time. So, until next time, if there is a next time, get all the water out of that rag you can get. Keep pushing. Because God doesn't make junk. We only have so much time. Till next time, guys, it's Todd. See you.